Hi, my name is Sammy Bradar, Associate Group Editor for the National Provisioner. I'm here today with Clemens Corporate Executive Chef, Jenny Moyer Murphy. Jenny, thank you so much for meeting with me today.
Oh, Sammy, thank you for having me. I mean, this is such a pleasure. So,
Absolutely. So, we're talking today about the sausage category. So, to start off today's conversation, what inspired Hatfield to elevate breakfast offerings for food service operators? Is there demand in that category?
you know what? It's interesting. I think there is a demand in that. I mean, people look at all day parts, but think about what you start your day with. Your day starts with breakfast. Breakfast is a category that people have been preparing for years. And the great thing about it is people are looking for diversity in their breakfast offerings. And, we've been in this category for a while. I mean, when you think of Hatfield and the Clemens Food Group brand, you always think of bacon, but sausage is one of those categories that's coming back. And I think it fits well with that day part with breakfast. And so we looked at everything. We looked at data essentials. We looked at trending things in the industry. And the team said, like, let's start elevating our breakfast offerings for just not just your, sausage, egg, and cheese. Let's elevate it to some global inspiration. And I know we're going to talk about that further in the interview today. So
Definitely. Thank you for those insights. And looking at breakfast sausage, what flavors are trending right now for breakfast sausage? And what do you see picking up in this category?
So, I mean, when you think about breakfast sausage, everybody looks for kind of a traditional flavor. So when I say traditional, it's a flavor that everyone it resonates with. Like, so when I look at the category, you're some people are looking for smoky, some people are looking for hot, some people are looking for like when I say hot, I mean spicy. People are looking for sweetness as well. So when I talk about trending categories that are coming up, it's it's those sweet, heat, and smokiness that are happening. But people still gravitate towards that traditional flavor because they can add it to an item, and it doesn't really um, I'm going to say use the word offend, or but like it doesn't change the flavor, it just enhances it. So it's not going to be an offsetting taste or anything. So when I think of traditional, I think of some unique savory and slightly herbal flavor in that. And again, Hatfield decided to create a sage infused sausage, which we'll talk about as well. But I think those sweet and hot or spicy flavors are really going to continue to trend. I think of chorizo. I think of andouille sausage. Those items are still top of mind to people. But then you have that category where if you have kids or even the elderly, they like that sweetness in their sausage, so they might look for more of a maple flavor. So those are kind of the three that I see trending. But going back to your original question, it's that traditional breakfast sausage flavor that we're all familiar with that's really happening right now as well.
Definitely. We hear so much about flavor trends, but we also hear a lot more consumer insights from saying that consumers want traditional foods and they want those traditional, comforting, cozy kind of flavors so that they're familiar with. So that makes a lot of sense that consumers are opting for that.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, people are talking seasonality, and I don't think I think comfort food is across the board. There's comfort food in the fall, the winter, the spring, and the summer. There's everybody has their comfort food. So yeah, when you talk traditional, I would combine that with comfort food as well.
Definitely. Looking at Hatfield's new sausage products, they meet the criteria of Clemens Animal Care Standard. Why is this criteria important to Hatfield, and how does it align with increasing consumer demand for animal welfare?
Well, that's a great question, Sammy. And when I think about that question, I think about Clemens as a whole. Clemens Food Group is one of the fifth largest pork producers in the United States. We are only in the United States, and it's a company that believes in animal standards. So when we think about our animal care, we lead it by three of our core values, which is ethics, integrity, and stewardship. And that's across the board. That's our commitment to our customers, to our team members, and it goes beyond our animals as well. So when we think of animal care, it is a standard that we strive every single day that our animals come first. So when we provide our pork products, um, that came from those animals that have been cared for, our retailers are the retailers, the food service customers, our manufacturing customers all come to us because they figure we're getting a great product. We know that Clemens cares about their animals, and excuse me, the standard is so high. To your point, it has translated to consumers. Consumers want to know where their food comes from, and if animals weren't um, cared for humanely, that makes a big difference in the quality of the product as well. So we again have a very strict standard of feeding, how they're cared for in the group housing, and the care as they come even to the facility, and how the process is done. So when we talk to our new customers that are out there, and even our consumers, we like to say that we have this animal care standard, and we are proud to put that seal on our products. And people have come back to us and said, yeah, your pork is really great. I like the fact that you tell a story behind how you care for the animals. So that's what Clemens really is talking about with those animal care standards.
Definitely. And to your point about products just, being better when they're raised humanely, we see
Yeah.
a lot of that now. There's a push for humane handling and animal welfare, obviously, because of, just consumer sentiment, best
Mhm.
practices, things like that. But when you break it down to the actual product, when animals have reduced stress, when they're taken care of in just a humane, more yeah, just a humane way, it creates a better end result for the consumer. So it's just best practices all around.
Yeah, and I think about every day, even when consumers are going to the supermarket or you're going to a restaurant, um, people want to know where your food comes from. I mean, I read labels. I'm sure you read labels. I talk to people here at Clemens, and we all talk about, like, where our food comes from, and how things are processed, because there's so much out there that you constantly hear, um, that when you have our product, we are giving you a quality product, and we can say we take pride in it, and say that, our again, I'm going to repeat that our animals are cared for in a humane way. And I'm proud to say, when I prepare it as a chef, I can say this product is great. We've taken the care in processing, and actually putting it into the boxes that go out on the trucks that go to the consumers, as well as to the food service and manufacturing companies.
Definitely, definitely. And looking at those sage infused sausages in particular, why
Yeah.
did Hatfield decide on sage? Why that flavor?
Well, it's funny. I think I mentioned earlier that I don't know if I mentioned that, like, the predicted growth of breakfast sausage and flavors and everything is in the 4-year growth is about 18%. And when we did our research, we did that, as I talked about, the data essentials. We looked at data essentials. We looked at Nation's Restaurant News. There's other industry sources where we look for all those trends and flavors and find out, like, what's the next best thing. So when you think of sage sausage as a trending flavor, it's unique, it's savory, it's slightly herby. You can actually um, put it into products that you're either preparing yourself. And again, it's not going to change the flavor. It's just going to enhance the flavor. It's versatile in recipes. It's easy to use. It's um, it's one of those flavors that's not overpowering, but it's going to pair well with pork, and it's going to give that. It's going to elevate the flavor of your sausage without being, as I said before, overpowering, or some people will be like, oh, that's too much. I think, sometimes you taste a black pepper sausage and it might be like, oh, that's too much black pepper. But with sage, you have that subtle flavor that's becoming increasingly popular, especially as you look at different like sausage flavors. Everybody's kind of trending towards that sage, and we've just had a lot of good feedback both in the Northeast, the Midwest, down south, because people can use it to enhance other items as well.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Thank you for those insights. And I see that Hatfield's new sausage portfolio features products tailored to multiple current consumer culinary trends like
Yes.
shakshuka, breakfast poutines, breakfast sandwiches. We've talked a bit about how you uncovered these trends, but how did these trends impact the development of these products?
Well, that's another great question. When I think of all these like really cool, like global inspired dishes that we put together on the website and in the portfolio, um, I think about like the Gen Zs, the millennials, everybody's looking not again, you can have a regular sausage, egg, and cheese, but then other people are looking for like I'm looking for some type of Japanese flavor and I'm looking for Middle Eastern flavors. Everything's been globally inspired because people's palates have changed over the years. Yeah, you're going to again go back to I'm going to say to the comfort food to your staple items, but then it's like, you know what? I need to branch out. So chefs have developed these really unique flavors to pair well with sausage, pork, and some of the items that you see in that portfolio. When you think about it, Mexican and Italian are pretty staple. They're pretty like mainstream. And when we were building this portfolio, building the recipe file, we decided like, let's branch ourselves out a little. I mean, when you think of Hatfield, it's a Pennsylvania-based company. We're in the United States, but you know what? We have decided that global is where we want to go with that recipe flavors. And so it was interesting how we created those dishes because I was like, this is outside our box, guys, but we're going to do this. And I think again to our discussion earlier, consumers are looking for different things. They're just not looking for your traditional, but I think people want to be able to also take that recipe and prepare it themselves to see if they can do it because I know the Gen Zs and they tend to go like, I keep hearing, oh, I like Korean, I like Japanese, so it's like interesting when they look at our portfolio, they're like, oh, wow, you guys have some pretty cool items on there. And I'm like, yeah, we are pretty cool, actually. So,
It's really interesting. There's such a push for, as we talked about those traditional flavors, but there really is such a push for culinary innovation and really just cooking as an art form. We're just noticing a lot of that within just home cooks nowadays.
definitely. And I think COVID changed that too. I hate to go back to that time of our life, but COVID really made a big change in people's lives, and they decided like, hey, what am I going to do? I'm at home. I've got to like start cooking for myself and figuring it out. And at that time, as we all know, things were limited, and but you still were able to get these the pork sausage products and kind of play around with them. And I even hear from my friends and again, people within the facility and the plant here that they're like, yeah, I just started cooking and figuring out like, what can I do? And, everybody Googles everything now. You have that instant gratification of like, hey, I can just Google that. And it's nice because our portfolio allows you to just go on our website at clemensfoodservice.com and find those trending flavors and items.
Definitely, definitely. So, Jenny, thank you so much for your insights. Was there anything else about the sausage category or flavor trends in general that you'd like to share with the provisioner audience?
Not at this time. I think just look at our portfolio. It doesn't just include breakfast sausage. We do have some dinner sausage flavors that are trending as well. The andouilles, the chorizos, the sweet and hot Italian, of course, are flavors as well. But yeah, I mean, take the time and look at the site, the clemensfoodservice.com site, and it gives you some additional insights on other items that we're working on as well.
Definitely, definitely. Well, Jenny, thank you so much for your time today. I really appreciate it. And yeah, just thank you so much for meeting with me.
Thank you, Sammy. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thanks again for having me.
Thanks, you too, Jenny. Bye.